I woke up this morning, scrolled past the usual doom and gloom headlines, and one number stopped me cold: $150 trillion. Now that's the tidal wave of money that Swift shuffles around every single year. Now picture XRP surfing that wave. Are you intrigued yet? Now, hang on to that thought, because what I found after chasing this rabbit hole might flip your whole XRP mindset upside down. I'm talking numbers so wild that they'll make my coffee taste like, well, rocket fuel. Okay, so quick backstory, so that you know why I'm buzzing harder than a kid who discovered espresso beans. Last week, a buddy sent me an article saying that if Swift ever plugs XRP into its liquidity layer, then we're talking triple-digit prices. Now, I chuckled, and then the curiosity itch hit. I needed to know if that was just Moonboy hype or something sturdier. So I pulled up my detective hat, cracked open, ChatGPT like a game show host, and I asked it the question. And the spoiler is that the answers were juicier than I had expected. But before we tear into the meat, you should know that the free educational Discord server we run is basically ground zero for nerding out on this stuff. The link's in the description, so hop in if you crave charts, debates, and the occasional meme war. Now, here's the kind of sticky problem that we got to, at least kind of got my gears turning, is that XRP sits at roughly $2 and some change. It's already up about 300% since last November, yet still treated like the awkward kid at prom when compared to Bitcoin is in the spotlight. So why the kind of disconnect? And analysts keep screaming that the market barely values XRP's cross-border superpower. So if global banks ever do wake up, then we might be looking at a very different price tag. And this is where you can cue my ChatGPT interrogation then. Right, I fed it the very same scenario. Pretend Swift adopts XRP as its primary bridge currency tomorrow. What would happen? Now the bot kind of crunched the numbers through 3 different and separate models, right? Picture me kind of leaning over the digital shoulder, popcorn in hand. First, we had the liquidity coverage model, right? Which is basically Swift's $150 trillion yearly volume across 60 billion circulating XRP tokens. Now that model hinges on velocity, how many times each coin zips through, or at least back and forth, in a single year, right? In a modest kind of 10 times turnover, ChatGPT spat out a kind of jaw-dropping $250 per XRP to cover the flow. Now chill for a second and you can feel the kind of figure land, $250. Now if velocity doubles to 20 and the kind of price theoretically halves, well then, you got a solid kind of Goldilocks number, just right. I'm muted, So the coin's kind of playing hot potato and each kind of toss boosts its value. Next, we kind of dove into what I call the treasure chest premium model. Now imagine XRP isn't just a payments grease, but the shiny store of wealth, like digital gold with a fintech twist. Now ChatGPT said fine, tack on a 25% confidence premium, and whoosh, the price jumps to about $312.50. Crank the premium to 100%, that's full investor euphoria, and we kind of land at an eye-watering $500 per token. That's kind of the moment that I nearly spilled my latte. $500 puts you in a new car smell tax bracket if you're holding a decent bag. Model 3 was, well, a lot more conservative. Market cap parity. Now, if XRP's market cap simply equals the $5 trillion flow estimate to, at least estimated to kind of grease Swift's gears, then we're kind of talking about $83 per coin. That's still 37-ish times its current price. It's not exactly chump change. Now, while I was pacing my living room doing mental math gymnastics, I kind of thought smacked me in the head, right? Hold up. Real life, it isn't a spreadsheet. Implementation bottlenecks, regulatory kind of drama, good old human inertia could stretch timelines quite a bit. But even if you kind of chop those projections in half, the upside still looks meatier than a holiday roast. Okay, and listen to me here, right? If you're kind of itching to trade on any of this volatility, I personally use Kraken Pro, and yes, the link in the description is an affiliate link. That's, clicking that kind of helps support the channel so that I can keep mainlining caffeine to kind of bring you stories like this. Okay, let's get back to our adventure here. Let's think of Swift as the ancient highway system. It's reliable but slow caravans lugging gold around. XRP is the kind of maglev train then, waiting at the station. What's held Swift back from boarding so far, you might think? Well, it's partly optics. Banks love status quo like cats love shiny and sunny kind of windowsills. Plus, there's the kind of tech integration dance and, of course, the regulatory cage match. Yet, cracks are showing, right? Remember when Swift kind of started pilot tests with blockchain rails a couple of years ago? Lobbyists, they can't unsee the gas-saving math. It's kind of like realizing your flip phone can't stream cat videos. Eventually, you're going to upgrade. So I called a buddy who works in a mid-tier European bank, off record of course, and he admitted that the board is quietly running cost-benefit scenarios on the on-demand liquidity solutions. The translation is that they hate paying for nostro-vostro parking fees, and XRP solves that like microwave solves hunger, fast and cheap. Some skeptics will say, but Nick, central banks won't trust a public crypto, and I get it. Yet Ripple has been kind of wooing regulators harder than a reality TV contestant eyeing for a rose. Now, the company's CBDC platform pitches basically hands central banks the steering wheel while XRP fuels the engine behind the scenes. Alright then, it's time for the kind of sequel-worthy cinematic moment. I combined all three ChatGPT models into a weighted mashup using a simple average. Right? Because spreadsheets are my love language, right? Now, because that number, or what number kind of stared back at me was, it was just roughly $350. That's smack back in the middle of $250 to $500. So does that really guarantee anything? Absolutely not. But it does give me a bit of a North Star. And then, here's a plot twist. While I was knee-deep in formulas, news broke that a consortium of Asian Pacific banks are considering a shared liquidity hub experiment for next year. It's rumors so far, but if XRP even sniffs that pilot, we're no longer just speculating. We'll actually be living it. Now, this might shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. Your investments are entirely your responsibility and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses. And today's video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, I had to drop that in the middle here so that nobody sues me when their moon rocket dreams hit turbulence. Are you cool with that? I am. Okay, let's land the plane with a quick recap then that we have kind of three potential roads. Road 1 is that XRP becomes Swift's liquidity layer. Coins spin 10 times a year and boom, it's a $250 price tag. Road 2, markets treat XRP like digital treasury notes. They slap on a premium and we kind of peak above $300, maybe even $500 if FOMO goes nuclear. Road 3, this is where we kind of lowball it with pure market cap parity and still cozy up to $83. It's nothing to sneeze at. So you can pick your flavor, but each path kind of hints at today's kind of $2 and some change sticker, which kind of feels like a yard sale misprint. Now, if you want to kind of keep chewing on scenarios like this, then hop into our free educational Discord server. The link's chilling in the description. We break down models, we share charts, and sometimes argue about whether pizza counts as a vegetable. And spoiler alert, it doesn't, but tomato sauce, it does try its best. Oh, and remember Kraken Pro. If you're already trading, using that affiliate link below actually drops a couple of coins into the channel's tip jar, letting me keep the lights on as we kind of chase down the next crypto rabbit. Now, if you ask me what happens next, here's my kind of gut. The kind of minute that a single tier 1 bank publicly settles cross-border payments through XRP at serious scale, headlines are going to flip from speculative token to industry backbone. At that point, the models that we just kind of geeked over might actually look conservative. And if Swift gives the official nod, well, let's just say that I would install a seatbelt on my office chair. But as always, timing is the trickster. Could be months, could be years. or the whole plan could derail and detour if central banks push proprietary rails. That is why I view these models as lighthouses, not as GPS coordinates. Either way, my personal strategy is quite simple. I accumulate when what my stomach can, of course, deal with losing. I keep an eye on the regulatory tea leaves, and I stay nimble. Life's too short to marry any single narrative after all, especially in crypto, where plot twists drop faster than streaming service cancellations. So, what do you think? Is $250 XRP a pipe dream or the inevitable math of global liquidity? You can drop your takes in the comments down below. I honestly do try to read every single one of them, even the spicy ones accusing me of secretly being an IAI. And I promise you that I am just flesh and coffee. I usually pick things like these up to prove that I am not in fact artificial intelligence, and all of this is not just some kind of fake, kind of green screen background. It is all real, and I am very much not an AI.